Rev up your engines!
There's a man in Houston, he's suing Nissan. Well, his estate is selling Nissan because he burned up in his Nissan pickup truck while he's going down the road. It was a 2020 Nissan Titan. And they're suing Nissan, their lawyers, saying that they didn't properly attend to problems and tell people about it. And this is how the wheels of justice move slow. It was 2 years ago that the guy died, and it's only getting to court now. The lawyers, I'm sure they probably tried to buy the guy off with some cheap thing, and they didn't offer enough money, the family, so now they're going to court. Now, the claim they have is that Nissan knew a defective component and associated electrical issues could cause the truck to catch on fire. But the company delayed telling federal regulators to issue a recall. And they even sold thousands of more trucks while they knew this existed. And this is something that really amazes me. I read all the information, and a lot of times you get this thing where they say, okay, we're going to issue a recall for this. But they say they're going to issue the recall, and they're going to issue it like 3-4 weeks from now, or even months from now. So what happens to the people that don't even get the recall, like this guy, right? He wasn't notified. Now he's dead. They should be forced. When they know there's a problem, they should be forced to tell right away, hey, we live in the electronic age, right? Email. You can get a hold of people real fast. You don't need to use snail mail, right? Join the 21st century, Nissan, and all the other manufacturers. They all do the same crap. When there's a problem and there's a recall, they don't send the recalls out for sometimes months. In this case, the guy burned up, and it did catch on fire. The car companies, hey, they're always trying to hide stuff because they don't want to lose money. And they had to recall a whole bunch of trucks, right? They don't want to because that loses the money. Well, in this case, this guy lost his life because it started on fire because of a known defect. And in the interim, they even sold thousands of these trucks without warning the people about it. They knew about it, and they sold the trucks. They didn't tell him. The recall didn't come out till later when the guy was dead. So they should be forced to do it instantaneously. If they know a problem, hey, that's it. They should be forced to say, not say, well, we can mail something out in a month or two or whatever, right? It'll be interesting to see what happens in this case. But I imagine it'll be the usual where they'll settle out of court or something for a certain amount of money. He might win a big suit, and then they'll take it to a higher court, and then they'll settle out of court. That's usually what happens. Justice is very rarely done in the courts these days. Well, Ford's CEO is up to it again. Now he says, they say, in an emotion-filled fault. He said at the Wolf Research Global Auto Conference in New York, I would have been better off if I was dead set on resolving issues with vehicle quality control when I became CEO in 2020. 4 years ago, right? Hey, there's hindsight for you. What do they say? Hindsight is 2020, right? What's it take? They got 4 years to figure out he's been screwing up at the helm of it. The last 3 years in a row, they led with more recalls than any other company in the United States with cars. Talk is cheap. They're always saying that. Ages ago, Ford's little advertising BS slogan was, Ford, quality is number one. Well, if quality is number one, I'd hate to see what number two is, because their quality is going down the toilet. Yet the prices go up. The other day, a guy came over. He wanted to get an F-150 new here in Clarksville, and he said, gee, a loaded one was $81,000. He said, isn't that kind of ridiculous? I said, not only is the price ridiculous, but the quality is too. They just think they can keep raising the price, right? And the quality keeps going down, having more problems. Yet, the CEO says, gee, I was dead wrong on that. I should have tried to help the quality control more, blah, blah, blah. What are these, blind people leading Ford, right? He's a chief executive officer, and it took him 4 years to figure that one out. I guess like they say, corporations, they're dead from the neck up. They got so many yes men probably following him around, telling him what a great job he's doing, while the company's products go down the toilet. Talk is cheap, Jim. How about a little action? Let's face the facts. Do they really expect quality to go up when they start making a bunch of their vehicles in Mexico, like the Maverick and the electric Mustang? Of course the quality won't go up making it in Mexico, but it's cheaper to make them. They give the talk of, oh, we're so sorry. I wish I would have done this. Well, they're making a fortune for themselves. He gets paid a ton, right? And yet the company goes down the toilet. Now, Consumer Reports gave a list of vehicles they don't advise you to buy because they're still going for more than MSRP. It's kind of a weird list. I mean, the Hyundai Santa Fe is numero uno. I can understand that. But the number two is Toyota Prius. The number three is the Maverick Hybrid. and the number 4 is the Kia Sorento. What it turns out, the reason that they're really going for more than the MSRP is because those particular vehicles, for whatever reason, are popular as they stand now because of their redesign. The Prius did a major redesign. The Maverick itself is a front-wheel drive Ford pickup truck, the first one that people are hot for, and the Kias, the people like the way they look. Main thing is, if you're going to buy a new car, behooves you not to buy the hottest thing that's out now because they will just jack it up over MSRP because it's a capitalist society we live in. There's a limited amount of these things, and if they're very popular and they're selling fast, they'll see how high they can raise them. They'll say, well, we got to add $3,000 or $5,000 for equalization fee, some BS, though. They just want to get as much money out of your pocket as they can. If they got a hot item, they're going to hold on to it and sell it that way. That's just the way scumbag car companies are. Doesn't matter what company they are. If they got a hot item and there's a limited amount of them, they're going to jack them up as high as they possibly can. Because if you don't know, car dealerships are independently owned. Have the license from the manufacturer to sell that particular car, right, in a contract, but ultimately, it's private individual or a small corporation or an LLC that is selling you the car. It's not Toyota, Ford, Honda, whatever that's selling you the car. It's the car dealership. And they want to get as much money as they possibly can out of you. And when they have a hot item, they're going to charge as much as they can. That's why I tell people, one, hold back on new cars anyways. Who knows? What if they screwed up on the design, right? If it's a new vehicle that's hot, it might be squirrely up. These Maverick hybrids are showing to have a lot of problems, right? You shouldn't buy one anyways. But especially don't buy one when you got to pay over MSRP because it's popular and these swines just jack up the price. They will. They're private companies. They'll do whatever they want to get as much money as they can out of your pocket. They don't care what the manufacturer. The MSRP, that's why it says it's a manufactured suggested price, right? That's the S means suggested. They don't have to, right? They can charge whatever they want. And they'll try to charge as much as they possibly can. Well, here's a hilarious article entitled, San Francisco Sets New Rules for E-Bikes, Scooters Powered by Lithium-Ion Batteries. Of course, they have to regulate everything in California. The problem is those things can start on fire if they're not used right? Well, the laws are basically common sense laws that you're supposed to do. And of course, people are idiots. They'll do whatever they want because they're in a hurry. One of the laws is you got to charge your battery in an actual plug and not in an extension cord and then an extended plug. Well, it even says that on the directions of the batteries. Well, most of them, a lot of the Chinese bikes, they don't even send you directions. They send you in a box and you put it together. There's no directions whatsoever, right? But the real good ones will tell you, plug directly into the wall. Do not plug it with an extension cord and a multi-plug receptacle. And they're saying things like you got to have them 3 feet apart. So if one starts on fire, it won't keep blowing on down the line. And they're giving a limit to the amount of bicycles you can have. Like if you're in an apartment, they say the limit is like 4 or something. But if you have a house, there isn't a limit. Right? I guess it's so bad in California that they have to legislate common sense on people. It's common sense you don't get a high electric output device like a lithium-ion battery in a bicycle and put it at the end of a long extension cord. It's going to get hot, right? It might start a fire. You want to plug them directly into the wall. Just like if you ever had one of those space heaters, they always say on it, do not use an extension cord. Plug it directly into the wall because they're put out a lot of energy, those little space heaters. And if you got a long extension cord, guess what? It's going to get hot and it can easily start a fire. Well, the same thing with these electric bicycles. I guess people have no common sense at all left in California. Of course, that kind of does make sense, because if you had common sense, would you live in California, pay all those taxes, deal with all the crime they have in San Francisco and L.A.? No, you probably wouldn't want to, right? So now they got to legislate common sense into people in their electric bicycles in California. Yet another bit of legislation that's used in California, but they keep saying, oh, well, we want to be green, we want to be green, we want to be green. And now they're realizing, well, these electric bicycles, they're kind of complicated for these stupid people that don't realize you can't plug them in with an extension cord. TechSide 67 says, Nissan truck or not, Nissan Titan pickups. Sometimes you say they're good, and you've also said they can be horrible. What do you think? Nissan's discontinuing the Titans. They say they're not going to make them anymore, so that tells you something, right? Now, I've had customers with those Titans, and they loved them. They had V8 engines, and they ran really well. They were complete gas hogs. Now, if you don't mind poor gas mileage, they're not horrible trucks, right? I'd say if you're thinking about getting one, look at a gasoline one. Just realize they're not going to be making them in the future. And there's generally reasons that people don't make them in the future. They never sold that many to begin with. Nissan is not a large truck manufacturer, truthfully. The smaller trucks they've sold, the old Nissan hard bodies and the Frontiers, they've been selling them for quite some time. And for what you buy, they're decent trucks. You know, the Toyotas are better. That's what it goes with their mid-sized ones. But the large-sized trucks, that was never really their business. And the V8s, like I say, they can run quite some time. I've had customers who are very happy with them, right? But they're not going to be making them anymore, so that kind of tells you, yeah, well, they couldn't make it in the market, and so Nissan's just pulling the plug. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.